Greetings. This is me, Yael by Israel, owner of Flatbush Doulas. And what would you say I am? I know I'm the founder of House of Shifra and Pua, but what would I be? The facilitator of the Flatbush Doulas Feminine Wellness Membership Club? I don't know. Y'all tell me what's my title in that. I am here because I want to share with you something from the first book that we are learning from together as a club. And the book is called 8 Dimensions of Self-Care, Self-Care with the Beautiful Spirit. And it's written by our very own sister, Hayafa Ruach Yehuda, who is also a member of the club. And the book is an ebook. So when you pay for your book, it costs $12. You go to the link that I've already previously posted in the group. I'll post it again. You download it, and then you have it on whatever device you want to have it on. It's a PDF. Now for me, I'm old school. I like to have things in my hand. So I printed out the pages with my printer. I have a color printer, and I had the pages, but I didn't really want to just have them like they're, with a staple and whatever. Although you can do that. That's fine if that's what you have access to. But for me, I went to Staples and I got them to bind it with this spiral comb binding. And so I paid, $5 extra to be able to have this done, right? So they give me the plastic cover. I actually paid more because I wanted to have like a hard, y'all hear that? A hard cardstock cover for it. And as you can see, it's really beautiful at that point, right? So today, when you first open up the book, well, the outside of the book says, what is self-care? Understanding self-care and how to incorporate it into your life. Why should we practice self-care? Learn how self-worth and self-care go hand in hand. What does God's word say about self-care? Analyzing God's blueprint on how to live a self-care lifestyle. Now, in this case, the God's word that she's speaking of is the Torah, the Old Testament, per se, for those of you who have a Bible that has a New Testament. And so that's what she's taking her references from, her scriptural references from, okay? So it says, 14-page ebook to help you incorporate self-care into your everyday life and live lively. Who doesn't want to live lively? I know I do. All right, so on the first page in the table of contents, okay, there is a quote, and it says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. And then she poses a question to us. How can you love God if you don't love yourself? I thought that to be a very introspective question because many of us say that we serve the Creator and, we have a spirituality about us and we have a relationship with the Creator, but then we don't practice self-love. So how is that possible, right? So the next page, she explains what is self-care, but I want to skip right over to the next page that says a word on knowing your worth. Okay. And there is a section here that tells us how to build a self-worthy character. Okay. Step 1, take good care of yourself. Step 2, be someone you can count on. So therefore, honoring your commitments to yourself, not just to other people, because so many of us keep our word to other people, but we don't keep our word to ourselves. And then step 3, stand up for yourself. I thought that was so interesting because no matter how much positivity you are practicing, if you are surrounded by or even in any type of vicinity of people who do not respect you, do not respect your boundaries, they themselves have issues with self-worth, you will have to end up standing up for yourself. And that can be the hardest part of a self-care practice, is setting boundaries, although it is the most important because we know that you cannot keep anything that you can't defend. So sometimes that's your time. Sometimes that's telling your friends, your family, whomever, no, I'm not able to do that. Okay. Being able to be strong in your yeses as well as strong in your nos. But there's a question that she poses here, and it says, what do you believe you deserve? Women from all walks of life doubt they deserve good things. Why is that? Have we ever thought about why throughout the course of history, throughout different lands, throughout different times, you can always find the story of a woman who doubts that she deserves good things? Where did this programming come from? And so she goes on to say, having a deserving mindset is about how much you believe you're worth. Where do we get those ideas about how much we're worth? I know for me, I got those ideas mostly from my family, and then they were reinforced or challenged by the society around me. School, religious organization, your community, all of these places teach you whether or not your belief about your worth is acceptable or they feel that it's unacceptable. And many of us have been fighting since we began to understand that we are worthy. We've been fighting to be able to just exist in that worthiness without somebody saying you think you're too good, or why should you have these privileges? Why should you be able to say no? I always have to say yes. So, these are the challenges to feminine wellness, because before we could even start talking about what kind of food you're putting in your body, what kind of womb steam you're doing, how you should belly bind after you have babies, before we could talk about any of that, the consciousness that goes along with it is what allows us to even practice these things. The consciousness that says, you know what, when I'm menstruating, I deserve a break. I deserve a break at that time. I deserve to slow down my schedule at that time. All right. So it says here, when you doubt you deserve things, what you're really uncertain about is whether or not you measure up. Am I good enough? And then she puts in parentheses, yes. Because in case if you don't know you're good enough, the author is letting us know, yes, you are. What will people say? Many women carry around a secret shame that impacts their feelings of self-worth and question if they deserve things. Woo, wee. If that's not a word, a secret shame. What's your secret shame? What is the thing that you did to yourself or someone did to you that has stopped you from living in your fullness and believing in your worth? If you can identify it, then that means that you can release it. A lot of times we're trying to achieve healing. We're trying to achieve getting over something when what we are lacking is the ability to let that thing go. It's easier said than done to just tell someone to let that thing go. And just like anything else, there's a process. In the beginning of the process, oftentimes you're met with grief because there is the wishing that it was another way. I wish that this was not what happened. I wish that I did honor myself. I wish that this person did not tell me things that made me feel that I wasn't worthy. I wish that I was treated like a princess. And so if we are stuck in wishing that it was another way and not accepting that it was exactly as it was, and now here is where I am. You can't go back and change the past. You can't go back and change the past, but you can correct the present so that you'll have a better future. And in the beginning, it's not fun, which is why, you look at our group or you look at any group that has to do with doing the work of self-care and doing the work of wellness. And it's not going to be a whole bunch of people because it's not a fad. It's not that I'm telling you, oh, if you drink this tea, then, you'll be transformed. It really starts in your mind, and it starts with a commitment. The minute you become committed to knowing and practicing that you are worthy, there's a shift that takes place. Because when I value myself, then I automatically begin to look at my life and prioritize. I begin to say, well, is that aligned? Is that in line and aligned with who I am and who I'm trying to be and the worth that I think I bring? Another thing is, for many of us, we have not yet achieved balance in our life because we have not yet interviewed ourself and our higher self and gone into meditation and prayer to receive the message for what is your calling? What is your purpose? Why are you here on this earth? Do you think you're just here on this earth just to go through the motions? You're just here to get up in the morning, take a shower, feed your family, put on some lipstick, go out to work for someone else's dream, come home. And then we wonder why we're depleted. But at what point do we really meditate on and receive what is the calling that's on your life? Because when you have a calling on your life, your purpose begins to drive what it is that you do. So for me, you know, or you may not know, that the calling that's on my life is that I'm here to support women in achieving feminine wellness, in living out their calling, in being healthy, in speaking up for themselves, in realizing that nothing moves without women. We are the foundation of our families. We're the foundation of society. And a nation cannot rise any higher than its women. So therefore, for me, when I start slacking off on self-care, when I start entertaining negative thoughts, when I start allowing imposter syndrome and seeds of doubt to make me feel that, well, who am I to do this or say this or create this, then I check in and realize that, wait, I know what my purpose is. I know what my mission is. So therefore, if I'm falling down on self-care, that means that I can't support you, right? That means that when you are reaching out with your questions about feminine wellness, I'm not able to answer them because I'm dealing with the fallout of I didn't sleep enough, I haven't eaten today, I'm bad on my water drinking. And so for me, I've recently become recommitted to the fact that I'm no longer allowed to run on empty. I'm no longer allowed to treat myself and treat my body as though it's a second thought. Because right now, I'm supporting too many people. I'm in service of too many people for me to let that part of my mission down because I did not take care of myself. All right. And that's before I even think about just the everyday part, which is it doesn't feel good to be dehydrated, right? It doesn't feel good to not be able to take a walk without being out of breath. And so for me, and hopefully after you listen to this video, for you, the question that is posed here is something that we have to ask ourselves every day. What do you believe you deserve? All right? So tell me in the comments, what do you believe you deserve? And what has stopped you from commanding it? All right? All right, I'll see y'all next time. Please get the book so that you can be on this journey with, your tools, okay, your armor, to be able to explore these 8 dimensions of self-care as we go through creating and setting the tone and learning and achieving our feminine wellness. All right? I love y'all dearly. See you next time. Peace.